So it's Thursday, 13th of June. Just want to keep on top of the videos here. Obviously, still have the Waterford Gardaí. They're coming down around my apartment there, blaring their sirens, trying to provoke me, obviously trying to harass me. But this is to do with a number of things. Number one is to harass me, obviously. Number two is to let me know that this neighbour above us puts up online every time I'm exercising. If I was to finish exercising, within a minute, 2 minutes, they come down around blaring their sirens. And this is to let me know that this is being put up online. It's almost like to keep you under surveillance. I'll talk about all of this stuff there, over the next coming weeks there, because this was all set up by Dr. Anne Carey out in Tramore, employed by Waterford Tussle. And that whole situation regarding her is kind of a whole kind of situation, to be honest with you. But I'll address that now over the next couple of weeks. But Waterford Gardaí are kind of facilitating the harassment and the ongoing kind of efforts to kind of suppress information that I'm talking about. Like what I'm talking about regarding, see that whole children's grouping that I'm talking about, like there's issues there going back decades. Like this is not a secret. They've managed to kind of like keep it on their laps. Do you know what I mean? But they don't want the information getting out. They don't want the public getting this information. Do you know what I mean? And it's so similar to the whole Bill Keneally case, where you have the same Garda station realistically. Do you know what I mean? You have political influence. Do you know what I mean? You have accusations decades ago. They can say there was no evidence or it was covered up. Call it what you will. But whatever happened, the perpetrators went on to do the same stuff repeatedly. And this is going on through several people. Several people. This is not just one incident. This is several people with several incidents. And Waterford Gardaí is aware of these incidents. Do you know what I mean? They're aware of the allegations, they're aware of the accusations. People went into Waterford Garda Station multiple times to try and report this. Multiple people went in at multiple times over multiple decades to report this. They don't want me talking about this. Do you know what I mean? But anything I'm saying, it's not untrue. It's not secret, it's common knowledge. It's not secretive. People are very well aware of this in Waterford, do you know what I mean? But people are able to rely on kind of the input from Waterford Gardaí, along with Waterford City Council and other kind of state-employed organisations to make certain situations go away. And that's ultimately what's going on. And unfortunately, this whole situation with myself, which kind of erupted in 2016 regarding Dr. Anne Carey and my ex, and how I got lured into this Baha'i faith, which turned out to be a cult. This was being promoted by fucking our health service, our HSC is promoting this. Now I'll show all this over the next couple of weeks because I want to talk about kind of the stuff that went down, because I was in this before I left, and I'll show you documentation to show I was in it and that I made complaints. But in order to me dealing kind of with that, I have to kind of wade through all the bullshit that's been kind of circulated in the meantime to try and cover this up. And that's basically where it is there now. And the Halligans tried to jump on that situation to try and clean their own reputations. As we know in Waterford, there's been decades of situations, allegations that let's just say protocol wasn't followed in an effort to protect those involved. So Waterford Gardaí, it's in their interest to try and make this go away because it highlights the corruption within Waterford Gardaí. Do you know what I mean? It highlights the fucking cronyism in Waterford Gardaí, Waterford County Council, and so on. There's various other groups. Do I continue arguing with likes of these kind of subcontracted builders or other clowns involved? I don't, because it's only taking me away from the original kind of issue of the problem basically. But the whole thing with the Halligans, like that erupted when Henry Halligan interfered in my mother's funeral. And I'll talk about all this over the next couple of weeks. But in my last kind of video or two, I spoke about the actions of Waterford Gardaí. And that's only a small kind of number of kind of situations regarding the failures from Waterford Gardaí. So it's in their interest to come down and drive around my apartment and harass me in an effort to kind of thinking they're going to drive me away. I will never go. And I'm prepared to go to jail, and I'm prepared to go on hunger strike if needs be. But what was spread, all this kind of sexual stuff that was spread in 2016 about me by my ex and this Dr. Anne Carey. Right, I've been speaking about this whole kind of cult stuff and all that, and how she was employed by Waterford Tussle, why she's recruiting for the cult. I'll show you documentation about this, but I was speaking about that since 2014. There was nothing sexual ever kind of said about me around then. I brought me extra court, there was nothing sexual said about me then. I was awarded the kids. Do you know what I mean? I have a parenting agreement where she signed over the kids 6 days a week. And there's loads of other stuff that I want to kind of talk about, and I'll get into it kind of over the next few weeks, like the likes of the Hair Together program, which she's kind of after getting the backing from Tusla and Dublin County Council in an effort to spread this. That was my programme that she stole. She came down here and spread her shit and then stole that programme. Now there's loads of documentation around this as well. And what's been driven there now is to kind of push this narrative that I'm kind of somewhat kind of mentally unstable. This is what's been pushed now behind closed doors that you don't see, and socially then just spreading all this kind of sexual stuff. So it's a kind of, if I deal with the whole kind of sexual stuff on a platform, it makes me look fucking mentally unstable, unfortunately, you know what I mean? But something I forgot to mention actually when I was talking about Waterford Gardaí in the last video there, that complaint I made, right, which GSOC looked into regarding a local Gardaí trading paperwork belonged to me, a summons. It was out of date, expired, open, somebody had it. The guards were able to kind of obtain the summons, serve it on me a couple of kind of weeks after I was assaulted. It was a veiled threat. But the results of that, right, investigation by GSOC apparently, that was sent to Waterford Garda Station. Now it was addressed to me, it was sent to Waterford Garda Station. Waterford Garda held on to the kind of response from GSOC for 2 weeks. And what they done then is after 2 weeks then they sent me down the letter, and I got the letter, I think it was 20 days in, I had 28 days to appeal it, and they sent me down the letter. And obviously it was sent to Waterford Garda Station, or it was sent from Waterford Garda Station, and someone intervened. And they got the letter, they opened it, they read the findings of the kind of investigation. Basically, they got their actions covered up. And as I said, Waterford Gardaí then held the paperwork to try and prevent me from appealing it. And this is what happened actually. And whoever opened that letter up in Waterford Garda Station read it, obviously gave it to his secretary and said, send that down onto him. But the secretary put in the old envelope with the new envelope, and the old envelope had the kind of date and my name and address on it. Now all of this paperwork is all still available, and anything I've spoken about, the paperwork is still available. But I'll give you some kind of idea how serious this situation is. You'll all be aware of the whole kind of sexual shit that's spread around me. This is an effort to try and kind of discredit my character. And unfortunately, I have to try and deal with that along with trying to deal with all this other stuff. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's been purposely made convoluted in an effort to kind of like prevent me from kind of speaking about this. And as for that whole situation regarding children's group link, I will never let go of the fact that Henry Halligan interfered with my mother's funeral. Never, ever. And the fact that Bishop Cullinan protects Henry Halligan, do you know what I mean? Despite knowing of his actions, do you know what I mean? And this is part of the issue with the Catholic Church siding with political fucking influence, do you know what I mean? Let's be honest about it. And there's other stuff I want to talk about over the years, kind of that I know of. And they know I know, being honest with you. And the difference is, like, a lot of people won't talk about it, whereas I'd be prepared to fucking say it like it is, do you know what I mean? And what's going on right now is they basically have me under surveillance. You have this clown up on me, and I know this all sounds crazy. He's strategically put up there. I've only found out recently that Waterford City Council are paying this fella's rent to sit up there and harass myself and my wife. And that's like insane. But this is all going to eventually come out, and if it means that I have to go to jail to push this out, like, so be it. Do you know what I mean? It's not something I want to do, but it's something that I have to do. Like what was done to my family, what was more importantly, what was done to my mother, being honest with you, I'm never letting that go. Do you know what I mean? The woman like didn't put in or out on no one, so I'm not letting that go. Roisin Doherty and Leo Kennedy, two slime balls in Waterford City Council, got caught in the woman's bedroom, and they get their actions covered by sleazy Joe Daniels in Waterford City Council. And as I said, there's loads of documents all around this as well. Despite Waterford City Council removing the documents out of my file and my mother's file, which I obtained. Do you know what I mean? So that alone will tell you, like, do you know what I mean? That they're clearly trying to hide something. And I was able to get back the emails that they removed. And this happened with the solicitor that's involved in the case. I'm going to name that solicitor locally. But what you have is you have a ring of steel in Waterford, basically. A ring of corruption. And they all have kind of, it's in everybody's interest to support each other. That's how corrupt Waterford is, do you know what I mean? But what's been done by Waterford Gardaí there now, that's done under the watch of Chief Superintendent Petit. Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest about it. He's very aware of what's going on. Do you know what I mean? You have these clowns coming around, driving around my apartment, following me in and out the road and all this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? But realistically, it's to facilitate the whole kind of Halligan situation, because I'm talking about stuff they don't want me talking about. I'm not lying about stuff. I'm only speaking about the truth, but they don't want the truth getting out because it highlights the corruption and how rampant the fucking cronyism and corruption is in Waterford. And if you want to look to what's been done, look to the Bill Keneally case. It's more or less identical, do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to update there and let you know that kind of Waterford Gardaí are still kind of like doing all and everything in their power to try and keep me kind of somewhat under pressure. I'm not under any kind of pressure. I've accepted this for what I was, and I'm going to slowly start kind of putting this stuff together and putting it out there for everyone to hear. But they won't want you hearing this. They won't want you sharing it, and they won't want you hearing it. Do you know what I mean? You have certain members of Sinn Féin, like various groups, tattooists, builders, waterford freewheelers. All these people have a large, extensive network up and down Ireland, and it's in an effort to try and suppress the information that I'm trying to put out there. And if you go back to all my videos, any of my videos, you will see I never once asked people to stop spreading the stuff that they're spreading around about me. Never once did I ever ask that. If anything, I've encouraged it. And if you could have reported, it would definitely help the whole situation. But I know people won't, because people either don't want to get involved or they're quite happy to say how high when these people say jump. And at the end of the day, they get their contracts from the council and all this kind of stuff. I kind of understand that. I don't like it, but I understand it. But my family, my brothers and sisters are aware of a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. Now, I'm not having a go at my brothers and sisters. This is what they want me to do, do you know what I mean? Because if you turn on your own, there is one kind of, it's getting closer to you having to leave the whole kind of community. That's what's been done. I'm not having a go at my brothers and sisters. I don't speak to them. They don't speak to me. I don't know why they're even being targeted, being honest with you. But they know a lot of what I'm saying is true. Do you know what I mean? Like, my sister would have sent a large number of emails regarding the harassment my mother was receiving after she caught Roisin Doherty and Leo Kennedy searching her bedroom. But her emails were removed from my mother's file. Now I have my mother's file. I got it. As her carer, I got my mother's file. And it's beyond recognisable. 90% of my mother's file has been removed. 90% of my file has been removed. Same with the solicitor. 90% of my files, actually more than that, to be honest with you. She probably deleted 95%. She kept the applications that you would hand into a courtroom, which she couldn't kind of alter anyway. But that solicitor was aware that I was unhappy, because I had made a complaint to Waterford Legal Aid about her. I made a complaint to Kerry head office about her. So she went out of her way, knowing full well that I was unhappy and I was making complaints, and she tried to deceive people by removing the paperwork. And I will show you her admitting that the file was after being deleted, and then trying to lie her way out of it by trying to say that the 5 years was up. She had 5 years to retain the file, and then someone hacked into my emails and deleted all my emails. Now, she somehow knew that my emails would have to have been deleted, so she knew she could just say that the 5 years was up and I couldn't prove it. But unfortunately, I got into Google Cloud and I have all the emails, and it shows that this woman is lying. She's a very high profile person in Waterford. Her family are very high profile people, well in with the Waterford Gardaí. But as I said, I have to deal with all this kind of shit in an effort to deal with kind of the actions of Dr. Anne Carey. This woman should not be employed by Waterford Tusley. And because of her relationship with my ex up in Dublin, this is why my ex gets all these grants and Tusley back in this Here Together program. But I've been speaking about this now on and off for kind of like nearly 12 years. So it's about time that I really start kind of putting the paperwork together and putting it out there. There's a lot of stuff, unfortunately, I have to let go. I don't want to let go, but I realise it's getting in the way of everything, being honest with you. And anything I've spoken about, I can prove. Anything that I've spoken about, I can prove. There's a lot of stuff I haven't spoken about that I can't really prove, that I would love to speak about. But anything I've spoken about, I can prove. Do you know what I mean? And they know that. They know that because I've sent a lot of this paperwork and kind of memory sticks with evidence on it. I've sent a lot of this to various state organisations. So I'm sure it trickled the whole way back to these kind of corrupt people. So at the moment, I'm waiting to get word back on a legal representation to try and lodge some kind of court proceedings for the abuse of human rights, which is basically kind of gross at this stage. And there's too much to try and get into in kind of one or two videos, but I'm sure if you go back to my videos, you'll see, if nothing else, look at the importance of what I'm talking about. Am I the only person that finds what I'm saying really important? Like, what they're saying about me is important and it should be investigated. What I'm saying about them is important and it should be investigated. Like, they're editing files, they're removing paperwork as fast as they can. This is going on for years there now. And the reason they're doing this is because they're caught by the balls. Do you know what I mean? It's not because of some moral issue. Do you know what I mean? Like, Because if it was, they would have went to the guards. It's not a moral issue. It's just cronyism and corruption. And unfortunately, that's what drives Waterford. So I just wanted to kind of make a quick update of my kind of videos. It's a bit of a waiting game now at this stage, being honest with you, because I'm waiting on word on something. So I leave it there, and I'll be back in touch sooner rather than later, I suppose. Thanks.